shorty like a melody. I left a job, and then I changed everyone's passwords. I don't even care that this was immature and petty of me. I can't stress how awfully I was treated in this job, and how the entire team joined in on it. I was the only woman on the team, so it could have been that, but I don't want to play the gender card. You're probably thinking it's not one-sided, but it was. I was never rude to these guys. I'm not too fond of confrontation, so I used to be a doormat. I was afraid to rock the boat, so I just accepted how I was treated because I needed a job desperately at the time. One evening I decided it was the last straw. I went home for the night and never went back. I got various calls from them all on WhatsApp asking why I hadn't shown up, and I ignored it. Like I said, I can't handle conflict very well, so I couldn't face talking on the phone to them because I was already very upset from the evening before. A week after I quit my job, I realized I was still logged into my manager's account and he hadn't changed the password. This account was basically the restaurant's entire database. It had information for menus, staff, ordering, stock, etc. I decided to change the email to a fake one I'd made, and then I changed everyone's password so they couldn't access it. I don't know what happened after that. Nobody ever contacted me. I don't know whether I was the suspect or not. I don't go to that part of town anymore. Punch_your_facehole. I used garlic and onions in a meal when I was strictly asked not to. My stepmother-in-law won't allow my father-in-law to eat anything with garlic or onions, not even garlic powder or onion powder. She claims that it hurts his stomach. So, whenever they're in town and come over for dinner, I refrain from using garlic or onions, which is frustrating because I use those two in just about everything I cook. For a little backstory about my step-mil's cooking, she makes the blandest food. Once, we went to her Thanksgiving dinner. She cooked the turkey around noon, cut it up, and had it out around 3, but no one was allowed over until 5 p.m. By the time we arrived, the turkey was cold AF and drier than the Sahara Desert. The woman just doesn't know how to make a tasty meal. Anyhow, my FIL visited us once without his wife, and I made chicken breast with garlic and onion seasoning, and he loved it. Nothing happened to him after he ate it. He told me that he can eat garlic and onions if they're cooked. But for some reason, when he's around his wife, both of those ingredients are not to be used. They visited before Christmas, and we planned a dinner at my house. My SMIL made it a point to call me to remind me not to use garlic or onions. She also called my wife to remind me not to use garlic or onions. I was so annoyed that she made it a point to remind us not to use the two ingredients after years of her constantly reminding us. That night, I cooked the chicken breast with sage, rosemary, thyme, garlic, and onion powder. Both my SMIL and FIL loved the meal. In fact, they commented on how juicy the chicken was and how delicious it tasted. It turns out they both like garlic and onions, but, for some reason, just have an issue with it. Also, neither one of them got sick. Automatic speaker 671. My mom took $50 from me, so I lied and told her I didn't know where her $200 went. Me and my mother have an up and down relationship. Sometimes we'll be best friends, the next she'll wish I was never born, a burden to her. It was my payday. As soon as I got home, she demanded $50 from me. I had just given her 152 days prior. I knew what it was for. She wanted to gamble, or she was giving it to my stepdad so he could gamble. No matter how many times I told her no, she would get louder and threaten me more, so I just gave in. She wasn't gonna pay me back, she never does, but what could I do? A few days later, me and her were talking in her room. When she got up to leave, I saw it, $200 dropping from her wallet. When I saw it, I didn't know what got a hold of me. This felt like my way of getting revenge, being able to pay myself back kinda. I quickly pocketed the money and went on my way. A few hours later, my mom called in a frantic asking if I'd seen $200 around the house. I told her no straight to her face and hung up. To this day, she still doesn't know. I hated stealing and lying to my mother's face, but I also still feel it was deserved after years of her taking from me. I've been living with this guilt for about a month now, and it eats me alive every day and keeps me awake at night. I'm sorry, Mom. Edit, man. Every single one of y'all's comments make me smile and tear up. I wish I can thank you all personally for all the advice I've been given and the feedback. Even though I still feel guilty, I feel a lot better knowing I'm somewhat reasonable for my doings. For those with similar stories to share, I also feel deeply for you. You've all helped me a lot. Thank you so much. Tori, _. I lied about an injury, ended up actually saving me from permanent damage to my ankle. When I was about 7, I was moving to a new house with my family. I tripped and rolled my ankle in the bathroom and it kind of hurt, but the pain went away after a few hours, but as a dumb and lazy kid I decided to lie and say it still hurt really bad to get out of packing to move out, Kept this act on for about a week and my mom decided I needed to go to the doctor to make sure I didn't sprain my ankle or anything. My little 7-year-old self started to panic a bit because I really felt no pain at all, but I thought I was too deep into the lie to back out by. Then, we went to the doctor and did an x-ray, and I was thinking, I'm screwed, I'm perfectly fine and this x-ray will just prove I'm lying. Results came back and I was thinking I was about to get in big time trouble for lying about something so serious, only for the doctor to say I fractured my ankle. Apparently I was going on for days with a fractured ankle that didn't hurt whatsoever and didn't realize I had to wear a boot for the entire summer. I felt guilty for lying about it for the longest time, but if I didn't I could have seriously messed up my ankle. Now I laugh thinking of it since it's such a stupid story. No one except for me knows that I lied about this and I don't know if I ever will tell my parents. Probably one of the more tame confessions here, but definitely a strange one I thought I should share. I really don't know why my ankle didn't hurt. If you have anything to confess to, leave a comment down below. Thank you. Angry Canal. I used to get my little brother to sleep in bed with me. Throwaway here. I'm a dude and when I was between the ages 17 to 22, I used to get my little brother who was between the ages 5 to 10 to sleep next to me. It wouldn't be actual sleep, just light naps. He would come to me wanting something the TV remote control. I would tell him he has to sleep beside me for a little if he wants it. He'd be reluctant and annoyed but would eventually agree. So I would lie in my bed and he'd be next to me. I'd be on my side and he'd usually be on his back. Sometimes I'd try and be the big spoon and cuddle him. He'd lie there frustratingly waiting for the nap to be over and constantly ask if it's enough. Sometimes when he tried to get up, I'd pull him closer. I would then let him go and give him whatever he came to get. Why I ever did this. It was nothing sexual, I've never gotten aroused by it or anything. I just liked having him there close to me, especially since he was so adorable. I'm sure he thought I was weird as hell. Looking back, that was fucking weird and I'm horrified that I ever did that. I feel like a pedophile even though I never touched him inappropriately or even thought of him in a sexual manner ever. I have also never been sexually attracted to kids or looked at child p********. Anyway, this was very infrequent. Just happened here and there. Probably like 6 times in total. I stopped eventually for some reason. I feel really bad for him that I ever did that. Am I a freak? Edit, our relationship now is great. He comes to me whenever he has issues, wants somebody to talk to. He's my favorite family member and I'm his, going by his words. Zenergy Music. It was me that moved your garden gnome every night. When I, 42M, was in my 20s, I worked in a nightclub and used to walk home with a couple of coworkers pretty much every night at roughly 3 a.m. On the way home there was this one garden that was always perfect. It had a little pond with a gnome, one of those that has a fishing pole, you know the type, right? Well, one night we decided it would be fun to move said gnome to a neighbor's garden. No damage, we were not heathens lol. The next night, said gnome was back in its place as if nothing had happened, so of course we moved it again, to a different neighbor's garden, and we continued to do this every time we walked home, normally at least 4 or 5 times a week, for the next 6 to 8 months or so. I hope we didn't annoy you too much and you took it in the spirit it was meant. It always made us smile to see him back in his original place. Edit, thank you guys and gals, the responses have made me smile so much. I'm really glad that there is still room for this sort of prank in the world. I like to think that the owner had kids/grandkids that always wanted to hear about the travels of the magical gnome. Grey Dutch Bunny. I lied on my resume because I was getting desperate. I recently graduated from grad school, and I am looking for a job. So far, the job search is going horribly and I haven't gotten any offers. I read somewhere on LinkedIn that the way companies are exaggerating about the experiences you should have is getting ridiculous. It showed a post of a firm requesting over 5 years of ChatGPT experience when the software only came out last year. This sparked quite a lot of comments saying that at this point, you should just exaggerate or lie on your resume as long as you can prove that you have the expertise in the topic you are lying about. For example, you could say you have 2 years of experience as long as you can prove that you can live up to what is required for the job. As a recent graduate in chemical engineering, I only have half a year of industry training. I have not been getting any offers, and I am getting desperate. I have enough money in my bank account to live 2 more months or else I can't pay rent. I know that my training in school is more than what they are looking for in the position, and I can for sure do the job that's required, so instead of putting down half a year of work experience, I put down 1. I have already sent out the resume to several companies, and since then, I have been getting interviews. However, I now have to live with the guilt of lying. After a week of living with the overwhelming guilt, I changed my resume back. I need to lay everything out here as a confession. It was wrong of me, and now all I could do is to be honest from now on. Edit? Okay, so this being my first post and blowing up was kinda cool. Anyways, got through my first interview with the rounded up resume today. Will keep you updated if I got the job or not. Deleted user. I only hire cute girls or ugly guys at the college job I work. I work a job on campus. I'm a student interviewing and hiring other students. If they're obviously not what the job needs, they get booted off. Everything is fair until there's a tie between a number of students, more than we can afford to hire. After careful evaluation, I choose to hire the top most charming and attractive girls, and the bottom of the barrel guys. It's good for business.
Poking one fish back. No one disturbs. I think you can win this thing.